We're about to start 2026. How can somebody, especially newer coaches, put together a launch strategy? Like what's entailed in a launch strategy? You said there's lots of pieces. What are some of those pieces?
Yeah. So I always like to think about it like if you especially read, yeah, this is the perfect time to do it, end of 2025, beginning of 2026, and or at beginning of any year that you start to kind of think about, okay, how much revenue do I want to make in my business? Like what is my revenue target? And then you can think about the different sort of streams of income that you have. But if your main stream of income is your coaching practice, and you have like one main program, you can think about, okay, how many launches do I need throughout the year
Mhm.
in order to kind of hit those targets.
Well, welcome everybody to the Coach Easy Cafe. I am Janelle Anderson, your host, and today we are going to be talking about launches. And I'm just curious how many of you have a launch coming up in the new year? We're getting ready to wrap up 2025. Lots of people are planning new launches for the new year, whether it's a new program or an event or something that you're going to launch your program out of. Could be a course you're getting ready to launch. There's a strategy behind launching, right? I used to just like throw stuff together, throw it out there and see, let me see if this works. And didn't have a plan or a strategy, and it didn't work very well. So I so I started learning how to do a launch strategically. And I always tell people when you're getting ready to promote your workshop, even a workshop, have a plan. Plan out what you're going to do in your promotion and when and put it on the calendar. And no, don't think about it as just a post, but it's a campaign. So today we have a launch expert with us, a launch strategist, and also project manager, and she's a good friend of mine. And so I want to introduce you to Elisa Boogaerts. Elisa, welcome.
Hi.
Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good
so
to be
excited
here.
to have you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us, first of all, just tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah. So I'm a launch strategist and project manager. I work with coaches and I help them launch their online programs and events. And so they can scale their business. And I do it from like a project management perspective. So I sit with them and I we put a strategy together for their launch. I put a very detailed plan together and I either work with them or if they have a team like a VA or something, or I can bring in my own VAs because I do offer like a done for you tech service as well. So I can set up all the automations and emails and all that kind of stuff because there's a lot of stuff that needs to get done for a launch. And then we just work on it week by week. Like, okay, these are the tasks we're doing this week, who's doing what, and just kind of get everything done so that they can launch. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
basically what I do.
yeah, that's really great. I think that a lot of coaches and most of my people are newer coaches in the first few years of business, and they're not thinking about launches. Don't even know what launches are a lot of the time. And what they typically are trying to do is sell coaching sessions. And sometimes they put them together in a package and say, hey, 10 sessions for such and such amount of money. But I teach them how to put that together into a program that is more about the results their clients can get and not the sessions themselves. And
Okay.
so then it becomes this program that you launch because it just changes the whole ball game. So we're about to start 2026. How can somebody, especially newer coaches, put together a launch strategy? Like what's entailed in a launch strategy? You said there's lots of pieces. What are some of those pieces?
Yeah. So I always like to think about it like if you especially read, yeah, this is the perfect time to do it, end of 2025, beginning of 2026, and or at beginning of any year that you start to kind of think about, okay, how much revenue do I want to make in my business? Like what is my revenue target? And then you can think about the different sort of streams of income that you have. But if your main stream of income is your coaching practice, and you have like one main program, you can think about, okay, how many launches do I need throughout the year
Mhm.
in order to kind of hit those targets. And so, yeah, because you can do, group programs, or maybe you have a mastermind, or maybe you have a podcast, and that's how you can get revenue. So there's all these different little streams. And I find that different you can have different types of launches as well. So you can start thinking about that. Is it going to be something that is like a 60-minute webinar that, leads to kind of a lower ticket offer? Do you want to do a 1-day event or 3-day event, or maybe you want to do a summit in there, so kind of think about it, like, sort of plot it through and then see which of those, like how much you want to make in each of them to achieve your whole kind of like target for the year. So yeah, so like say you want to make 100 grand in the year or something like that. And, you want 60K of that to be through your launches because you have other sources of revenue. So you want to kind of think about those group programs and start about, okay, like what's the price of my program? What's the revenue target for each launch? How many group programs will I need to launch to kind of hit that target? So like, I'll get into some numbers here, but like, say you have a program and you sell it for 1,500, let's
Mm-hmm.
say, and say in a particular launch you want to make $15,000 in that. So that means that you need to like, and if your revenue goal of your launch is 60,000, you need to have 4 launches. So you're going to have
Okay.
like 4 launches throughout the year, 15,000 each gives you your 16,000. So that's kind of like a way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. And then from there, you can kind of think, okay, if I want to make $15,000, how many programs do I need to sell? Well, I need to sell 10. So then I need to have 10 people buying it. Right.
Right.
And if you're in doing a webinar and you're selling something that's $1,500,
Mhm.
usually the conversion rate is like 10%. It's going
Yeah.
to be quite low. Yeah. You know all about this, Janelle. And so
Mhm.
if you want to sell 10, it means you have to have like 100 people live at your
Yeah.
webinar
In the room. Yeah.
in the room, right? And
Mhm.
so and that can be hard to get that many people. So
Yeah.
maybe the launch strategy becomes, well, maybe I'll do 4 webinars for a launch. And at each one of those webinars, like maybe throughout a month, maybe do them weekly or something like that. And they can try and get 25 people at each, so that's a little bit easier. It's a little bit like not as
Yeah.
scary to be like, because if you want like 100 people live,
Yeah.
you probably need to invite like 300 people or,
Yeah.
like,
You
you
have
have
to
to have
have,
300 people registered. So,
you have to have probably more
um,
like 400.
right. Yeah. Because again, the show up rate can be quite low. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's kind of a way of like reverse engineering it, like thinking about your targets, breaking it down, and then like, okay, how many people? And then you kind of know how many people you need to invite. So that really kind of gives you your launch strategy for the year.
Yeah. I love that. I love the idea of working from the end in mind and reverse engineering everything back rather than just trying things. Let me try this, let me try that. And with no strategy, and you don't have a plan and you have no idea what your goal is. And and I see that a lot. I did it for a long time, actually. Yeah, I was the random, let's throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks, let's see what works, and didn't know what the heck I was doing. So it's very helpful to look at it that way. And now is such a great time. We're wrapping up 25, Um, what would you say would be a good way to wrap up 25, especially for people that haven't done this before, or maybe they haven't had a launch strategy, but they've tried different things in 2025, to kind of look back and see what they did, and then like come up with a new plan of and new strategy for the new year.
Yeah, I think it's really good to, yeah, look at your numbers and what worked well and maybe what could be improved with that, so you could say like, oh, I did some launches, but um, maybe they didn't work, or like, oh, I tried to sell these things. And because sometimes I remember even when I started as well, I actually looked back in the year and I was like, right, like, I sent emails to my newsletter, but I never told them how to work with me. Like, or I only told them a couple of times that they could book a call. I was like, maybe, for next year, I might want to like put that in the footer of all my emails so people always know they can book a call. So that's like a little improvement you could make. Yeah, and just kind of, and I think that as a project manager, at the end of all my projects, we always do like we call them like a retrospective, or
Mm.
looking back at what it was like, and it was like what went well and what can be improved, and then what actions do I want to take from that. And so I think that's always good to do at the end of each launch as well, because there's always ways for improvement. Even if it went really well, there's always ways to improve. Or maybe you want to like make your goal a little bit bigger, like maybe
Yeah,
next time I'll do 20,000.
yeah,
So yeah, there's always a way to improve. Yeah. So I think just, and not beating yourself up for it. being
Hmm.
kind to yourself, and just know that, look at it as a way of improvement instead of being like, oh, I was a failure and this and that. And,
Yeah.
like you want to look at it like, okay, how can I make it better? So,
Yeah, I
and
love that.
then,
That's actually, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
just take those learnings into the next year.
Yeah. That's excellent. It's actually I have a framework called clients. It's for creating a workshop, the client enrollment workshop. And the S is that it's the systemize and scale, going back, looking because I don't know how many times I did this, and I know a lot of coaches do this. They might try a workshop or a webinar and maybe it didn't go very well. And so they're just like, well, that didn't work, and they throw it out and start all over.
Mhm.
And then you just never know what's what. You have to go back and look at your numbers, analyze things, look at your copy, look at
Mhm.
your content, look at your offer, look at everything,
Even the title.
even
Maybe the
the
title didn't
title.
attract people. Yeah.
Super important. Look at your landing page and do a split test on the title maybe
Hmm.
and see, like you have to test things all the time to know what's working and what's not working instead of just keep putting the same thing out there and nothing changes. Oh,
I did
definition.
that too
Yeah.
for a year. I remember I was doing like monthly, I was trying to do them enrollment ones. And I think it was like monthly workshops or webinars. And it was like, I want to say 6 months later, all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, you know what? Like I didn't do this. I didn't look at my own thing. And then I realized that I didn't like, I had clients, so I kind of wasn't really thinking about it. But then I realized I
Mhm.
wasn't converting at any of them. And I was like, oh, maybe I should have looked at that a few months ago
Yeah.
and made some tweaks and changes.
Yes. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Because I was
Yeah.
getting clients, but it wasn't through that. And so I was like, oh, okay. So why am I doing these? Change to
Yeah.
make it convert. Yeah.
And then I love your idea too of like, well, maybe it went pretty well. So, and there's always things to change. Like I just had a really good event in November, but already I'm thinking of little tweaks to do. But now let's raise our goal. Let's try to get more in the room. Let's try to get more conversions. Let's just, you know, see what we can do to, what new things can we do? What different things can we try to get
Mhm.
more people there? So, you were talking about the numbers, right? We need at least 100 in the room for that scenario you were giving,
Yeah.
which means
Yeah.
you've got to have 400 registered. So, how are we going to get those people there? What are the different ways that you can bring leads in to get those registrations?
Yeah. So this I like to call a lead strategy, which is kind of like, I think with your launch, there's lots of different strategies. And even with your business, there's lots of different
Mhm.
strategies you can do.
Yeah.
So putting together that lead strategy. So it's like, okay, so I need 400 people register. Like, where are they coming from? So, and so there's like you can think of lots of different places. There's maybe your email list, right? So you can get people from there. It could be social media or any groups that you're in, like Alignable or something like that.
Mhm.
You have your lead magnet, which is a great way to get people into your world, into your tribe. Um, you have joint venture partners as well.
Mhm.
And actually, sorry, just go back to the email list thing. I know that some of my clients have like wanted to segment their list. They're like, oh, like, well, one of my
Mhm.
clients, like, she's doing really well. So she's a list of like 12,000, but she was like, oh, I only want to actually target 6,000 of these people. Like she only wanted to actually target half of her list. And so that's kind of like an interesting thing to look at as well. Um, excuse me.
Mhm.
And Yeah, so your lead magnet's a great place. Joint
Mhm.
venture partners are also a great, because you ask them like, hey, can you promote my event? And then you tap into their tribe, which is awesome. So you can think of like, how many of those people do I want to help me promote my event? Um, I know my business coach, he has an email list size of like, it's not huge, it's probably bigger now, but when I talked to him, it was about 3,500. But for his event, he had like 50 JV partners. He had a lot of JV partners, and it was a ticketed event, but he sold like 250 tickets. And
Wow.
you wouldn't have done that if it was just his list, so
Yeah.
like JV's really worked well for him. um, Speaking as well is a great place to be visible and to promote your lead magnet, right? And so you can think about, especially as part of your launch, if you have it coming up, you can think, okay, can I book in a speaking
Hmm.
opportunity that I can like either invite people to my free event or invite people to my lead magnet that invites them to my free event, right? So kind of thinking about that. Or do you want to do one yourself? like, do you want to have your own, like a summit yourself? You could host your own summit, because if you host your own summit, everybody who registers for that summit goes on your list, right? Where if you speak on a summit, only the people that want your lead magnet or whatever it is that you offer go on your list. So doing your own summits, awesome. Um,
Yes.
there's gift giveaways or bundles as well, which is a great way to attract leads. And again, you can do it, host it yourself as well. You get all the leads then. Um, and I love to do networking. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
always out networking. I think it's a great place to meet people, potential clients. It's a great place to promote your event. It's a great place to JV partners, like there's lots of people that you can meet there. And most of the time in networking events, they let you, put your information in the chat so you could put a link to your event in there. Yeah. And then if you do, have people book a call with you, think about that as well. Like, okay, how many people do I need to book a call with? One of my business mentors, he has a goal of having 5 conversations every single day. He's on the
Wow.
phone with 5 people every day. And I was like, well, and they're not all necessarily sales calls. Like they could just be relationship building calls, but like some of them they do convert, so he's always reaching out and getting people on calls. So yeah, so those are just some ideas of places that you can get your leads, and that becomes your lead strategy. Like, okay, which one of these do I want to do? Because like kind of doing all of them maybe could be overwhelming. Maybe you don't have an affiliate system set up yet, so you don't have to worry about the JV partners. You could just, speak on a couple of summits or podcasts or something like that. So really think about which ones you like doing, and then make that part of your lead strategy.
Yeah, and those are all my favorites. I mean, my favorite
Yeah,
favorites, JV partners and speaking for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Those work
Uh,
really well.
yeah, and
Mhm.
you can also like speaking like you're speaking right now in my little
Right.
Speakeasy Cafe, which is not a summit, it's not a workshop, it's just a weekly, I call them Zoom shows. It's a weekly thing I do. You can people can sometimes people do a lot of Facebook Lives or LinkedIn Lives and have people come and speak there. Um, even if, especially if you do a lot of networking, you can meet people who have programs that bring in experts to speak to their high-end clients, and that's another place to be able to invite, give them a freebie, and then your thank you page invites them to your event. So and
That
posting.
is a really good conversion. I don't know
Yeah,
about you, Janelle, but I would get like a 50% conversion of people that got my lead magnet, and then the thank you
yeah,
pages come to my free event. Really
yeah.
about 50%. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot lately. I used to just do a straight invite to the event, but you'll get more people signed up on your list with a lead magnet than you will for an event because it's a lower resistance for them. It's safer to just download something. So you'll get more people signed up, and then if you follow that right up with an invitation to your workshop, then you'll get because you've warmed them up a little bit with your lead magnet, and then in your follow-up email series, you can keep inviting them.
Hmm, hmm.
Seeing that work better than just invite them straight to the workshop.
Right.
So, um,
Yeah.
and then social media, of course, if there are groups that you're a part of that you're allowed to promote, you can drop them. There's several of them. I actually made a chart of what days they allow promotion in what group because I couldn't remember, right? So some of them will say on Fridays you can promote, on Wednesdays you can promote, and then bring that list up and go in there on those days and invite people to my event.
Yeah. I mean, I think about like I'm on so many Facebook groups. Like I don't
Mm.
even
I
know
know.
which ones I'm on. So yeah, that's a really good idea to make a list of all the different groups and be like, I'm allowed to promote in here. Because some of them
Yeah.
are very much no promotion at all, but some
Yeah.
of them like one day you're allowed to do
Mm.
it. So yeah, capitalize on that.
Yeah. Capitalize on that.
Mm.
And I think the main thing here is to think about your lead strategy, just same as your launch strategy, as being not just one thing. Like so many times newer coaches are relying just on posting on social media. And I'll
Mhm.
ask them, like, they'll say, I put a workshop together and put it out there, but nobody came. Well, how did you promote it? I put it on social media, and that's it. So
Right.
you've got to think of all the different ways. And even with now this has to do more with the launch strategy rather than lead. Once they're a lead, especially if you capture their phone number, you can send them text messages. I've even called people that, and I use this a lot more in my follow-up strategy, but if somebody registered for an event and didn't come, or maybe they came and they were really active in the chat and seemed really engaged but didn't buy, I might pick up the phone, give them a quick call and say, hey, I really enjoyed seeing you in my event. What did you get out of it? I mean, they love hearing from you. They're like so honored that the host would call them. And I've had VAs call people before the event to remind them and tell them we're excited they're coming. So there's these two strategies, right? You've got your launch, your lead strategy, and then during your launch strategy, there's the piece after they register of getting them to show up. And there's a
Mm-hmm.
whole strategy there. You can't just say, oh, they registered, so I'm done with them.
Right.
So what are some of the things you've seen that work well with that, getting that show up rate to increase?
Yeah, I think it's all about nurturing your people and giving them value while inviting them to your event, reminding them to show up. And I think that they're kind of like, so I like to think of three kind of different ways that you can do this. And one of them is so like if they sign up to your event or if they're in, they did the lead magnet thing, I like to start nurturing them 4 to 6 weeks out
Hmm.
from your event. And so you can start talking about the topic of your event
Yeah.
and your program, right? So you're not talking about your program itself, you're not necessarily talking about the event itself, but the topic of it. And so that like, and you're just talking about that subject all the time, and then all of a sudden they you
Yeah.
invite them to the event and they're nicely warmed up. So they're like, oh yeah, she must be an expert at this, she's talking about this all the time, might as well go to the workshop. So I
Hmm.
think that that's kind of like a fun way to nurture them.
Hmm.
And you can give them little bits, because you have to remember, not everybody opens your emails, not
Hmm.
everybody sees all of them, so it's okay to share little tips that you might repeat in your workshop,
Oh, yeah, for
because
sure.
not everybody remembers things anyway, and
Yeah.
we all have to hear it several times before
Yeah.
it actually sinks in, I find. So
Yes. Repetition. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
And then if it is like a free webinar or workshop or something like that, you can start promoting it. You can do it like sort of 7 to 10 days out, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you can do this in different ways. This is the invitation. So 7 to 10 days out. And again, using your lead strategy, like, do you want to do social
Hmm.
media posts? Do you want to do email marketing? Start talking about it in your networking, what have you. And you can do it in different ways. Like, be kind of have fun with it. Like, you can talk about your why story. If you
Hmm.
have any testimonials from clients or case studies or something like that, you can talk about the biggest mistake that you learned, or the biggest mistake you had, and the lesson that you learned from it, and how this event relates to it. So you can
Yeah.
kind of like lead them into it. So it's like value content. It's not just like, hey, here's my event, come to it. Some of your
Right.
posts can definitely be that way, but you can also make it a little bit more fun and engaging. And then
Mhm.
for the people that do sign up, you want to remind them to get them to
Yes.
show up.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and again, you can get creative with that too. You can just be like, hey, my event, especially if it's like we're starting in an hour, that can be a simple email.
Hmm.
But leading up to it, you can do, because if someone signs up 10 days before, you want to maybe send them a couple of emails. So you can do
Hmm.
a FOMO email, like why they can't miss it kind of thing, or reasons why they need to attend the event, or speak to their pain, and how this event solves it for them, which will kind of give them that reason and make them a little bit more invested to want to come, as opposed to just being like, you signed up to this, please show up, like get them to kind of get into the emotion of it a little bit. So then they'll be more likely to show up.
Amazing. So many great ideas. Um, that's why you need a strategy, right? And a plan.
Yes. And then to map it out too, right? Be like,
Mhm.
okay, like I want to do a FOMO email on this day. I want to do this, and then actually like put it into a calendar, because
Yeah,
it's so easy to
definitely.
forget.
Yes.
And you're like, oops, I meant to send a 7 day reminder, but I forgot.
Yeah. Last event, I did a bunch of little short teaser videos, just like what you're talking, sort of like creating a buzz and talking a little bit about, well, I'm going to talk about this. This is one thing I'm going to be talking about, and give a little,
Yeah.
like bring up the pain. And then, hey, just this in my event, we're going to talk about how to fix that problem or that mistake or whatever.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
it's creating a buzz and excitement, just like, you see that happening in media all around us. There's movie trailers and there's, little coming soon kind of things. And
Right.
because if people have already gotten hints about it beforehand and then the launch starts, then they're like, oh yeah, I've been hearing about that. Now it's time to sign up. And then afterwards, keep reminding them why they should come, what they're going to get out of it, and entice
Mhm.
them. You can do like bring a friend contest.
Yeah.
You can have like an attendance gift if you come live, you get this special gift. All kinds of
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. And that's the difference is like why, like remind them why they should come, not just remind them to,
Yeah.
remind them
Yeah.
why they need to show up and why, because they obviously signed up for a reason.
Right.
They're interested in it in some way. So,
And most
um,
people are thinking, what's in it for me
mhm.
more than anything else? It's, what are you going to get out of it? How's it going to help you solve your problem or achieve your goal or whatever it is. So, okay, these are great. So we talked about the launch strategy, the lead strategy. What about a marketing strategy? What is that, and how can somebody stand out with their launch marketing?
Well, that was kind of everything I just talked about was like the
Yeah.
marketing strategy, doing those nurture emails, the 4 to 6 weeks out, and
Mm.
then the 7 to 10 days, inviting people, and then doing the reminders. Um,
Okay.
Always leading up. I think that's kind of like, yeah, that's the marketing strategy I like to do. And then, like I was saying, you want to plan it out as well, right? So like actually put together, like get your content calendar and be like, okay, 4 to 6 weeks out, like this is what I'm doing. I don't know about you, but sometimes I have my newsletter and I'm like, oh yeah, like I send mine on Sundays. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like I didn't think about what I was going to write to my list today, so I'll just kind of like come up with whatever and send out my email. But if I actually, and then I'll look back and be like, oops, actually, I was supposed to be talking about my event, or I was supposed to be
Yeah.
inviting them to my event, or I was supposed to, So I think it's good to map that out. But the strategy is, how do I want to invite them? What is that nurture sequence? What do I want to talk about? How often do I want to email? Those kinds of things to yeah, so you can get all your marketing kind of set up. And yeah, and it's really good once it is like if you can lay it out, then you just follow it.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
the thinking's already done, and you can then you just gotta like
Yeah.
plug them in and schedule those posts, emails, or whatever needs to be. So
And this, like we said at the beginning, this is such a great time of year. Like I've already got all mine planned out and on the calendar. And so then all I have to do is run, the mark, the plan. I have to just work the plan. And
right.
if you're going to do like a monthly workshop, you can, this is really good when you have JV partners because you could have different partners promoting different ones throughout the year. So then you're always reaching new people every time. And you've already got them on your calendar because JV partners are planning now for all of the things they're going to promote next year. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have, your every month, then all you need to do is every week, you know, roll out one of these things and maybe do something different every month. A
Yeah,
different,
yeah,
yeah. So it's a
different
little
theme.
mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's a really good point, Janelle, is that you have your launch strategy, so you know when your launches are, and then this marketing strategy comes into that because, like, say you want to do, you know, I don't know if it is monthly, and maybe one of the months is you're going to replace it with a summit.
Yeah.
So then you want to have different sort of promotion with that or different marketing strategy with that. Or if you're doing, kind of maybe 4 or 5 program launches and in between that you have the summit. So if you start to
Yeah.
think about like, okay, these are when they are, so therefore I need to do my marketing here. Oh, wait, there's going to be some overlap. Okay, maybe I'll change the date so there is overlap.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think if you kind of like map it out that way,
Mhm.
then yeah, because I've seen that with some people that all of a sudden they're promoting 2 things at once and then people are kind of confused and which one am I
Yeah.
going to, and then they just kind of feel promoted to all the time and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
so having
Yeah.
that, merging the strategies together, and then like we said, then you have the lead strategy, so it's like, okay, so now I have these events and I know what I'm doing on my marketing. Here's when I need to have a speaking gig, here's when I need to have
Mhm.
a speaking gig,
Yeah.
here's that networking event where I can promote this thing, so you can
Yes.
kind of really, um,
Yeah.
they all combine
Yeah.
together.
And then it just helps you expand and get more visibility. And it's got that domino effect to it, when you have your plan and you run it and um, you're strategic about it. So you're only promoting one event at a time. And in that event, you're only promoting one offer.
Hmm.
Um, but like if I have a course coming up, then that workshop's going to be about the course. But if I'm not running a course, then it's going to be about maybe my 3-day event, or maybe it's um, a one-on-one strategy call. Like I have a plan for each workshop as far as what the offer is going to be, and that's
Mhm.
based on my calendar. So
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
works
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
awesome.
And yeah.
Well, I know you have a free gift.
Mm.
Tell us about it, and if you could just drop the link in there, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And if you're watching
Um,
this on YouTube, if you're watching this replay on YouTube or LinkedIn or somewhere, we will put the link in the chat, or I mean in the show notes or comments.
Perfect. Yeah. So this kind of ties in nicely with everything we've been talking about, right? Like if you get your launch strategy in place, you know where all your leads are coming from, and now you have your marketing strategy. So it's kind of put that all together into a content calendar. So my free gift is a template, a marketing content calendar template. So it's all for 2026. So you can,
Nice.
again, you can slot those in, you can put in your plan for your launch marketing and kind of do it more with a little bit more ease and with intention, right? Like we're just saying, like, what are you offering? What are you going to be sending when? Because when you think about all those emails that you need to schedule for your launch, right, it can be a bit
Yeah.
overwhelming. And
Yes.
so we talked about a lot of things today. So I think this template will really help you to map that out date by date in a structured and organized way. So
Awesome. Yeah, sounds wonderful. So if anybody out there watching this is thinking, oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot more than I was thinking, then reach out to Elisa. She's the expert in launches. She can help you a lot, and grab her freebie for sure. And take it one step at a time. Try one thing every time, and then you can add on to that. You master one of these and it works really well, and then you can next time add on another piece and another piece, and then before long you've got a multifaceted strategy plan, and you'll see the results for sure coming in. So
yeah, yeah, exactly. And as you set up a strategy, you can put in that system, and then the
yeah,
systems kind of rinse and repeat. So it's like it becomes easy. Like, okay, now I'm ready to add another system to
yeah,
it.
don't try everything at once.
Oh
It's
my
too
gosh, no,
overwhelming.
way too overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say
So
start with what you like as well,
yeah,
because then you're more like motivated to actually do it.
that's a
If you hate social media, don't make that part of your lead strategy.
no, that's not even the best, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a supplemental.
Mm.
Yes, you should be on social media, but you shouldn't rely on it as your main strategy, because it's really hard unless you really know what you're doing and you've got a lot of followers, um, and even like running ads is another strategy we didn't even talk about, but you got to know
Mm.
what you're doing if you do ads. So try one thing and see how it goes, and then keep doing it. Keep rinsing and repeating. Keep tweaking. Keep changing things, trying new things. It's always a test. There's no perfect launch. There's no perfect event. There's no perfect anything. So the best thing to do is get out there and try them instead of working on them and trying to get them perfect. Try them and then do it again and then do it again, and get help from people that know what they're doing, so that it moves the needle faster if you get some help, for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you, Elisa.
Yeah.
Ashton is here with us. Do you have a question for Elisa? I want to leave with no. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Elisa, for coming. This has been super
Yeah.
valuable, and I hope that people listening will take away and actually put into place, put into action some of these strategies. Grab Elisa's calendar. I think I will too, and it'll help you out a lot. So thanks again, Elisa, for coming. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. I love talking about strategies. So thank you. And I
it.
think that it merges well with everything that you teach, Janelle. So
Oh, definitely. My people definitely need it. So I'll probably have you come talk to my mastermind students at some point too, because we're
I
always,
will.
there a few of them are getting ready to launch some workshops in the
Oh,
new year, and we're
exciting.
talking strategies right now, and it'd be great to have you come in and
Ooh,
pick your
love that.
brain. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here and watching and listening, and we will see you again next Monday for another Speakeasy Cafe.